Hey, what's going on, guys? I just wanted to hop on here and talk about a story that happened to me recently. And the story goes around um, why moderation is such a key thing and how tricky it can be to find that within our own self and our own living, breathing experience of how we navigate through life. So, my neighbor, who I love dearly, she's about 82, Chinese descent, and always comes to visit me when something's wrong. And so the other day she came to visit me and she was sharing with me, it was actually about uh, she got stung by a yellow jacket, and her leg had swollen up and was red and was itchy, was bothering her. She was having a really hard time just functioning in her day without it. So what I did was I quickly we had tea, and so I quickly took the tea leaves and I helped her make a poultice for it. And that poultice helped cool down the heat in there. And it also helped draw out some of the toxins that were still there in her leg. But as she was telling me this, a couple months back, she asked me, she had hypertension, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Her doctor was especially very concerned. This was maybe, I don't know, February. And I said, hey, I've got something for you. It's really simple. And some of you may know this, some of you may not, but the aged fermented pu'er tea is very good for this. So as we get older, what starts to happen is our blood starts to thicken. And some of these symptoms or some of these diagnoses that I just mentioned are really a sign of this thickening of the blood. So that was happening to her. So drinking pu'er tea is very good for thinning out the blood, very good for the digestive system and the heart. And it's warming, so it's not too cold on the system. So she started drinking it, and then I never heard from her until yesterday. And she told me that by drinking that tea, it made her hair fall out. And I said, what? That's kind of unusual. Like, how does that happen, drinking tea and losing hair? And so I started inquiring a little bit, asking a little bit more about what happened, right? And, no, she said, Tom, my hair fall out. And I said, well, let's see. And so she shared with me, I asked her actually that, how much were you drinking of this? And how often? And then her eyes kind of lit up and she started telling me about that. In the beginning, she drank the tea and she felt so good. She felt so energized. Her aches and pains in the body went away. She had more energy in her day. She was doing more and loved it. She loved it so much that what she started doing was brewing a huge pot, she showed me, of this tea. And she was drinking all day this tea. And I shared with her, I said, no, right? Please don't, that's too much, right? And that points out to a lot of the case with medicine or food or anything, right? When something's good for us, it's so easy to fall into that wanting more. Or like in our culture where we go to an extreme where, if this is good for me, I'm going to do even more, right? And so that's what she ended up doing. And what happened was obviously what you already know. Like, it was too much for her system. That her hair started thinning out. So obviously I shared with her, only have 1 or 2 cups a day, not a big jar full of it. And she was a little bit reluctant at first, but I helped her feel confident about it. And so just found out she's doing good with it and enjoyed feeling that energized place. And it really is a teaching for all of us that moderation is not this firework explosive experience. It's a very soft, quiet, slightly satisfying feeling. It's not loud. Like so many things today are just loud. Feeling the moderation, there's a space in you that feels slightly yummy, slightly satisfying. And that is the place we want to cultivate. And that is the place we want to hold center in. We don't want to keep going, right? We don't want another bit of this, another hit of this, another dose of this, right? We want to maintain that feeling. So I hope you enjoyed hearing this about moderation, and I hope you can find it inside yourself, because each and every one of you, that road to moderation is going to be different. Don't listen to the hype out there that every one size fits all for everyone. No, right? You have to find what works for you. And in order to do that, you have to listen deep inside. Your body will tell you, and you have to trust that. If you feel like you don't have an indication of what that is, an intuition for that, then I recommend joining us in Healing Infusions into our healing group, because there we teach how you can cultivate this intuition, this inner sense of knowing what's right for you, what foods, what to drink, how to navigate through your day, how much sunshine you need, what's right for you and not everyone else. This is so critical. It's a message that's very big for us during this time. Society's trying to make us all fit into one mold, but for you, it's important to find your own sense of what works for you, and then expressing that. You are the instrument that can express that, your creativity, your love, but it starts by deeply listening inside. So if you like hearing this, please, I really appreciate it. Everyone appreciates it if you could like it or comment on it. Obviously, it helps algorithms, so more people get to see this. And if you want to know more about what we do in terms of building this intuitive sense inside of us, tune into Healing Infusions. All right? And tune in tomorrow. We have the Happy Chi meditation tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Have a great night, everyone.